kind of on mute.
Yeah, I
You're
don't
kind of on
know.
mute.
What a
Am I on
start!
mute? What a
What a start!
What a class start. Problem is, on my screen, I wasn't on mute. So again, I will say that's not my problem. But hello, everyone. Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day from wherever you are around the world, and welcome back to the Cup Council. And again, we always love a great start, don't we, on the channel? Anyway, but of course, we're here yet again to talk about the Jude Bellingham situation around Liverpool Football Club, and of course the deal being off. But of course, we don't have just that to talk about tonight. We have a lot of other information that's come out over the last 24 hours, and more importantly, alternatives that Liverpool could be looking for this summer as well. So we're going to be talking all about that in tonight's show as well. And as well, if you're new around here, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button as well, and make sure to head over to everyone's channels. They are in the description down below as well. Anyway, but first of all, we have Jack from the Anfield Road TV. Jack, how you doing, mate?
Not too bad. Yeah, I'm excited. We're getting Barella, so happy days. We move. Oh, good.
Yeah, if anyone doesn't know and is new to the chat, again, this man over here is obsessed with, like I'm obsessed with Jude Bellingham. He's obsessed with Barella.
I've been for like the last 5 years. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's an addiction. Not a good one. So.
It could be a good one, it could be a bad one, depending on what happens in the summer.
Yeah.
But again, we're joined by Doug from the Doug Football Channel as well. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thank you very much for having me. And I'm probably going to be speaking about a man who I've been quite obsessed with, Manu Kone from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Obviously, being a Mönchengladbach supporter, I've seen a lot of them play. But no, thank you very much for having me. And big up the panel, big up the chat. And yeah, let's try and get into 1K this evening, especially after last night's successful stream.
Yeah, it was an absolute mental one last night. Again, it was absolutely brilliant as well. But again, we have the boys from the 1892 Reds TV. There we go.
Yeah, she got it right this time.
Got it right first time. There we go. Again, you need to change it back, for God's sake. But again, I was Ricky from the 1892 Reds TV. How are you both doing?
I'm all right, not bad. I was waiting to see who wants to go first. I'm all good, mate. Thanks for.
Welcome everyone.
Oh, I got someone's. I'm trying to
Is
copy
that
everyone.
me?
I'm trying to copy everyone's links into the comment, and obviously someone's sound has come up.
One of me is bad enough, Christ. You don't need two of them.
Nah, I'm all
Jack,
good, mate.
Do you want to get off the watch hours?
Yeah, of course. No, I'm all good. Obviously, thanks for letting me come on. Guy, I wasn't able to come on last night. With all the obviously the news around Bellingham, it would have been good to talk about. Obviously, we're going to talk about a little bit about that tonight. But yeah, obviously, well done in your stream last night, mate. And let's get Connor to a K, guys. Obviously,
come on, chat.
Make sure you subscribe over to Connor and obviously subscribe over to everyone else's channels tonight whilst we're watching this show.
Yeah, absolutely. As well, obviously, the boys are streaming this over on their channel as well, so go and subscribe over to 1892 Reds TV as well. But Tom's in as well saying, yes, the fellas as well. Oh no, Jack, it's going to be a Jude all over again.
No, it's not. It's not.
Again, we'll talk about that in a moment. Evening, folks. Brian as well. Yes, the fellas, and again, obviously that's the boys' link in the comments down below as well. But we will jump straight into, of course, the news. If you have been living under a rock, we are going to talk about Jude Bellingham and the timeline of what happened yesterday. And what's happened over the last couple of weeks as well. Obviously, Jan tweeted out yesterday saying Liverpool have a bid for Bellingham, but in detail, obviously, Bellingham is Liverpool's #1 target. That was being reported for weeks and months. Reports that Liverpool are favourites to get him. Obviously, he confirmed that there was an offer between Liverpool and Borussia Dortmund. And then straight after that, it was, of course, the tweets suggesting that Liverpool had pulled out of the deal with Borussia Dortmund. Now, there was a rumour that there was an £84 million bid, and that is in pounds as well. And the suggested transfer fee now is around 150 million euros plus add-ons, which, if that is the case, that's an absolutely tremendous amount of money. And I don't think anyone would be buying Jude Bellingham for that, probably, apart maybe Man City at a push in that regard. But I wouldn't see Liverpool definitely, well, Liverpool are definitely not going for that type of money on one player anyway. But Florian Plintenberg as well also had his mentions on it, as well as saying that being told that Real Madrid and Manchester City have driven the price up exponentially from the point of view of Liverpool's bosses. The total package, transfer fee plus salary, was rated too high for his age. Liverpool is out of the race as well. So, Jack, just on the basis of it, of course, and the roller coaster that it was yesterday, do you still make any sense of how in the space of 2 hours we went from a bid to being completely out of the race?
It's all about brinkmanship, innit, mate? Obviously, I was on with Kev, obviously, after your live show last night, mate. And it's all about getting the deal price down if possible. You look at Real Madrid, how Market and other, obviously, Spanish publications do very much control quite a lot of the vicinity in terms of the media in Spain, and similar with Liverpool as well. We've got our good connections in relation to, obviously, the football club have previously over the years briefed certain journalists that we probably tend to say Paul Joyce, very well respected, very well regarded. I think anything that Paul Joyce does say, I think we all take as gospel, because the 99% of the time he's more or less been spot on. Obviously, the one deal that never got over the line, which everyone in world football anticipated, was obviously the Nabil Fekir deal, which we did do. But of course, it was obviously the injury and the medical was the final stumbling block on that deal. But yeah, it's about brinkmanship, in all honesty, mate. I had my little rants on my video last night, and obviously saying Jurgen Klopp need to grow up here in reality, in terms of going up to the board and very much demanding who he wants personally. Obviously, you'll listen to the technical staff around him in terms of the recruitment process, but I think it's a pivotal 12 months, not just for Liverpool, but in terms of Jurgen Klopp, because the answers will eventually come back to Jurgen Klopp's door if we can't get the business done this summer. And we have a very similar season to what we've had this year. Of course, the question marks will always go to the man that is in charge, and that's Jurgen Klopp. So it's interesting to say the least, mate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As well, I think, as you've just mentioned today, obviously, I think Matteo Morato, I believe, saying that Liverpool did have the money and the chance to sign Jude Bellingham, but the choice was either meet Dortmund's asking price or the same money on 2 or 3 midfielders. They opted for the latter, and I think that's the big one in the debate, Rick, in terms of, again, Dortmund's asking price, of course, has gone up a lot, obviously, over the last 6 months to a year, considering Jude Bellingham. And I think Liverpool, I think at the start of this season, I think considering the fact we didn't get Tchouaméni, and obviously we're going to maybe speak about Tchouaméni a bit later on as well, the fact we didn't get him, and I think Jurgen and the owners thought that, if we have just a mediocre season still in the Champions League, we can grind out this season, and then Jude Bellingham and maybe one signing might be a potential option. But I think that I think Jurgen especially, obviously, I think all of us think that we could have got Jude and obviously 2 or 3 more players, but in terms of getting probably quality in the door, again, Liverpool getting 2 or 3 quality straight in the team signings, I think that's, for now anyway, more important than Jude Bellingham and the £150 million price tag.
Yeah, I mean, I think James Pearce put something out earlier that at the start of the season, I think Liverpool thought they could get Jude for 80 million. And then obviously the World Cup, his performances in that, and then the Champions League performances from him this season as well. But I'd love to have a go at what FSG and the rest of Liverpool hierarchy thought Jude was going to cost this summer. I mean, I'd love to be on what they're on. Apparently, I still do think this ain't done. I still think there could be a twist somewhere down the line. I do think it could be negotiation tactic after obviously it come out Jude picked his destination for his next move. A couple hours later, there's a leak that we bid 84 million or whatever it was. And then straight away, the Avengers come out and shut it all down. In about 5 or 6 of them,
Kind of like the Power Rangers.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they all copied and pasted each other's.
They're all defo.
Words.
Sorry, they're defo in a WhatsApp group, aren't they? All
100%.
100%.
John Emery's got them all in a WhatsApp group. But I do think this
John Emery, not the journos.
Yeah.
It's John Emery that's running it.
John Emery's got them in a WhatsApp group created FSG Top Reds. But I mean, it could be one that's still to. Could be, like I said, negotiation tactic. Liverpool know Jude wants to come. We pretend to walk away. Again, leak 6 or 7 names that we're interested in midfield in the summer, hoping Dortmund basically come on their knees and beg us to come back to the table. They don't need to. We know Dortmund are very shrewd negotiators. They did it with Sancho, albeit they took a less transfer fee the year after for him. But the best case scenario for Liverpool, if they don't get Jude Bellingham this summer, is he signs a new deal at Dortmund with a release clause that is feasible. We get back into the Champions League with James Ward-Prowse, Milner and Jay Spearing in midfield next season. We go again.
Well, I'm just going to bring up Jungle's comment in terms of a thick short presser.
Jungle, I think you're trolling there, lad.
Yeah, he is joking. But
Wait, you suggested you wanted him, Jack.
No, it was only joking, lad.
Yeah, all right, mate.
You get painted so much.
You got Ward-Prowse's pajamas on, lad.
Nah, I was just doing a Fergie. Remember when Charlie had them? Those corners are worth 20 million alone. But same with James Ward-Prowse's free kicks.
King Price John.
Potentially, the way I looked at that, Connor, I should have mentioned it before, and chat is if something potentially has cropped up in terms of, i.e., a player that Liverpool have had on their radar for a similar time as Jude Bellingham, because we've seen that happen in the past. Certain transfer targets have become available, and especially clubs know that Liverpool have got, of course, a war chest to spend. Then Inter are absolutely skint. Sorry to jump the gun, but Inter are desperate for money. A lot of the French teams are, considering what the collapse of the TV deal last year as well, and obviously what's been going on there. So yeah, they are skins, and for me, it only stems back to a player being available on Liverpool's transfer targets that wasn't available before, and Liverpool have got wind of it supposedly, and by the looks of it, have went, yeah, we'll go with them.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to quickly go into the comments for a quick second. Obviously, Brian saying, what was John Henry smoking when he bid 85? I think, again, obviously Liverpool testing waters. I think Ricky mentioned it earlier on in terms of, again, Liverpool have thought since the World Cup that he's worth around 90 million or around that figure. And I think all of us with a brain have gone, no, like he's going to be well over 100 million, especially considering Enzo Fernandez in January went for 120 million euros. And I know before anyone has a go at me, again, I know it was a release clause, but still that comes into effect because, again, why would Borussia Dortmund let go of their best talent at the moment for anything less than that when they know a class, a good midfielder is going for around that price as well. But Clemson saying using Trent in the midfield, buy Jude and get a solid right back to compete with Ramsey, then get a cheap free defender as well. I think plenty of people have that opinion as well. Brian saying Caicedo will cost 90, Enzo was 105, Bellingham was always going to be in the bracket above that as well. Yeah, I would echo those words as well, Brian. But look, it obviously with the other tweet that Florian Plintenberg did tweet out in terms of obviously the list coming out in terms of players that have been discussed, obviously, and we're going to go through them in a brief moment. But obviously, Rice, Caicedo, Barella, Gravenberch, and Matthias Nunes. Obviously, Klopp involved in not letting, in the Jude Bellingham decision. But I think it was something interesting as well, like what Neil Jones said, when at the moment we don't have a sporting director at the club as well. And again, the big question is who makes these decisions at the minute. Is it still Julian Ward? Is it Jurgen Klopp himself? Is it a combination of people as well? But I think that is the big problem at the moment, is if plan A isn't going according to plan, who is making the tough decisions to go, right, we're going to go after this person and this person? Because I think that's probably a question that's going to get asked quite a lot on Friday in the press conference. But what is your thoughts and just general opinion on the whole situation?
Mate, you summed it up there. You just nailed it on the head. I think, we've not got a sporting director, and Neil Jones is correct. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a circus on the pitch and off the pitch. I mean, like, at the end of the day, you mentioned about the plan A. I mean, when Liverpool play, whenever I watch Liverpool play, it's always plan A, plan A, plan A. When plan A doesn't work, have we got a plan B? And it's sort of off the pitch as well. We've got this plan A. We've planned for Bellingham for over 2 years, and then all of a sudden FSG go, oh, we didn't realise that the price tag would go up since the World Cup. And it's, I mean, I remember what Ricky said last night. He said about, for me, I don't think he will be at the football club this season or next season. Obviously, we've obviously seen what's happened now. But what's interesting about all of this, it's everything looks very mirrored. Everything's very similar. Like someone said something, and then everyone's done the exact same thing, and it's like, is there a twist in the tale sort of thing? Is it like sort of left on a cliffhanger sort of thing? We don't know what's going to happen, but mate, it's just at the moment, it's a circus, mate. I mean, we don't know what's happening behind closed doors. Obviously, we put out a video this morning. I don't know if Klopp's 100% behind it. Obviously, the report saying that he is. I personally hope he's not, because we've backed Jurgen Klopp for a number of months and years. Obviously, with FSG, we've got to support him. We've got to hopefully give him the war chest, as everyone hopefully wants to see him get, and he deserves it. But I don't know if he's still amongst this model. I've seen reports today about the model's going to continue, like the generating funds to then bring in players. I mean, we haven't got any profitable players in and around our squad like we had over the last couple of seasons. The only profitable players on the top of my head I can think of we can let go if we're going to bring in players. Obviously, Salah's not going to go anywhere, but Salah, you would look to get minimum 75, 80 million. We're not going to get rid of Alisson. And I think the only other one would probably be Jota, if the links have been correct about bringing in or letting him go. But yeah, I mean, it's everything around the club, mate. It's just a bit of a circus at the moment, and we need to get the foundations right again. And if it takes, to be honest, Liverpool fans, I think we've just got to try and be a bit more patient now. If it's going to take 2 seasons, it's going to take 2 seasons. I mean, I would be happy. This Bellingham stuff is now hopefully over and done with for now. If we can bring in 3 to 4 very good midfield players to bolster our squad, then so be it. And I would actually be very happy to see Barella be the sort of the main signing, and then on the side of it, we bring in, if it's Gravenberch or if it's Conor Gallagher as a squad player, or if it's, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many links around these players that, yes, they may not be the best players in the world, but we generally need a bit of stability around our team. We need availability. Mate, it's an absolute circus. I mean, I just can't understand why Liverpool have not.
I'm so sorry to laugh. It was just when you mentioned Conor Gallagher,
no, like,
Ricky's face.
Yeah, I know, but like Ricky's not seeing the point. Like, at the end of the day, I spoke to him earlier and I said, like, Gallagher's not going to set the world alight. Of course he's not. But don't forget, Klopp brought in Robertson, didn't set the world alight. He brought in Wijnaldum, didn't set the world alight. We've had a history of bringing in players that have been average at their clubs, and they've become better players. And I think that a player like Conor Gallagher could come into a Liverpool setup under Klopp and get better as a player, and obviously offer something to the team that he may not offer somewhere else. And it's happened in the past. But obviously, yeah, I do want to see Liverpool try and bring in better players. Of course I do. I don't want to see at the end of the transfer window Liverpool go, oh, look, we're linked with Conor Gallagher. I don't want that to happen. But if that's the way it has to go, and that's the best way to move forward over a 2 to 3 year period, then that could be the way to go.
I think, in my opinion, I think Conor Gallagher is at the bottom of the list. If I'm
Yeah, of course he is.
Because obviously we'll speak about it in a moment in terms of, obviously, I think Matthias Nunes now isn't in. I know Florian Plintenberg mentioned it, but I think Neil Jones and Fabrizio Romano have said that Matthias Nunes is no longer a target for Liverpool. Which, if that's the case, what's made that decision, considering the fact that, again, he was a prime target alongside Jude Bellingham in that regard as well. But again, guys, let us know your guys' thoughts in the chat as well. Tam Easy, is that how you pronounce it? Again, I apologise if I butcher any of those names. Big up, lads. You never walk alone.
Big up Sam, is he legend?
All right, Panav as well. Else was saying our war chest is the £1.50 between.
Mate, Jurgen Klopp gets sent to the reduced section at Tesco's. That's where he gets sent to every year.
Reduced section? Is there anything worse than the reduced section? The gone
No,
off?
reduced section's quite good. To be fair.
You do get some good bargains down there. Look.
I'll tell you what, when you got a pork pie on offer for like 18 pence and it's been sitting there for 12 hours and it's still soft, it is quite nice, to be fair.
Absolute bargain. Jack Barella, fanboy as well. Yeah, Jack's got next season. If Liverpool do actually sign Barella next season, compilations.
I'll be announcing Barella on YouTube, mate.
Could get Jack to freaking Kirby and just go. I'll take the photo. But let's get on to 1K as well. Very well, everyone, please subscribe up to everyone's channels. As well, I know Doug's put links in as well, and they are in the description down below as well. Pan of saying FSG knew Jude was going to cost 130 million pounds. They're not stupid. I think they're just being sure and trying to get the best price. If you start big, you will leave no room for hanging as well. I think that's, again, still the hope and dream. And again, people can get things wrong, but like we mentioned last night, it's not only Liverpool journos reporting this now, it's everyone is reporting that Jude Bellingham is not coming to Liverpool. So again, there's still hope, and again, never say never until of course he either signs that new deal or does move to Real Madrid. But again, the likelihood of it happening, is about 1%, if that. But Thompson as well saying, "Evening lads, don't want to be downer, but I've never seen this ever happening. Even with Champions League money coming in, FSG have consistently underinvested in the squad, not the ground. We have an aging squad." Absolutely agree, Tom, as well, and concern you as well, mate. Again, obviously we'll speak about FSG in a moment as well. Maxton saying, finally, this Bellingham stuff should be forgotten for now. Time to focus on Manuel Ugarte as well. I absolutely agree on that. Obviously, we all do as well. We all want Ugarte at the club. Journalists doing what they've always done, realising the information and the stories they've been briefed. They are not all on a big game on LFC Behave and these fake stories as well. Again, I think last night we were going through it, wasn't we? I think me, Rick and Doug, and we were like, yep, it's the same sort of conversation from every single journal coming up with the same story. In fact, that, again, Liverpool being outpriced and blah, blah, blah. Again, the only small hope is, again, like I said, they was wrong with Thiago to begin with. They're wrong with Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, Danny Ward as well, if you want to consider that. But again, when you've got everyone doing it, it's it's a bit difficult in that region as well. Anyway, but obviously, Doug, going on from what we've said about Florian Plintenberg as well. Obviously, Neil Jones mentioning the fact that Liverpool are linked to Alexis McAllister, Moises Caicedo, and Nicolai Barella as well. Will certainly have some substance. He was saying, of course, I think that was on Redmen TV earlier on. What are your thoughts on? I think especially Moises Caicedo, because again, we're speaking about Jude Bellingham and the price tag on him. Caicedo is going to cost in the region of 75 million pounds, and probably even more than that. Than even what I'm saying. But what's your feeling, especially on those three players in particular, and but more importantly, Caicedo as well?
Well, certainly they three would definitely improve in midfield. But again, it's all about price for me, mate. I mean, I think you're right about Caicedo. I think he's going to cost between 75 and 80 million. I think Arsenal were sort of reference for that. I think they were referenced for sort of 75, 80 million as well. I mean, McAllister, again, that's going to be pricey as well. But I can see some sort of way about this. Maybe like I think Jack's absolutely spot on when he says Inter are broke. I think they are. They're definitely cash strapped, especially with what's happened in Italian football. So, and obviously, Jack being a big fanboy of Barella, he obviously want Barella to come to Liverpool. I have to apologise because I did get a lot of stick last night for saying apparently Barella is only 26, and I said that was too old. So apologies, Jack, especially Albert, who nicely put it in front of me. But yeah, look, I think Caicedo, McAllister. Caicedo for me is that Gini Wijnaldum replacement. I think they've been badly needing because we haven't properly replaced Gini. Whatever people say about like Gini Wijnaldum, we've not really had a midfielder who can be very, very sort of like injury free. And Caicedo,
perfect age as well, though. Doug Caicedo, I think he's about 21, 20 years old, so that's fantastic.
I know, and especially like the Ecuador sort of league, like that's getting a lot of praise now for like players coming through. As well, and you look at teams like obviously Brighton, for example, they've got one of the best scouting networks probably in the Premier League right now, as well. So I think we might have to maybe do that. I think it's maybe going to look at younger players coming in. I mean, the names I've seen. I mean, I've seen every man and his dog that has been linked with Liverpool. I mean, this is the problem we're going to have though. Once a Manchester United, once an Arsenal, once a Liverpool come in, the price will be going up like that. And that's the problem. We are desperate for midfielders. So it's going to be a very interesting summer, let me just say that. But I'm going to say this now. If we sign Conor Gallagher and Mason Mount, they are giving me Christian Poulsen and Ricky Lambert vibes.
Yeah. I think realistically, like obviously we'll speak about Mason Mount because he's been in conversation again tonight as well. And he is certainly in that bracket of Liverpool players on the list. But I just want to quickly ask around everyone as well, because obviously, as Florian Plintenberg mentioned, obviously Caicedo is of interest of Liverpool and Declan Rice. For example, both were available for £70 million, just as an example. Which one out of the two would you prefer? Between Declan Rice and Caicedo.
Caicedo all over.
Yeah,
Caicedo.
Yeah, give him like obviously systematically playing a 4-3. Well, he plays in not a similar formation, but he's very well versed. He can play 3 at the back system, right, and 4-3-3 formation. I think he's more suited to, obviously, as Doug alluded to, the press and the athleticism of him. I do rate Declan Rice, don't get me wrong, but I think Caicedo, age-wise and probably, price-wise, much better value.
Do we think? Do we think that? Again, we were
what do you think of price-wise?
I think if you're paying that amount of money for Caicedo, I think Declan Rice, if you're paying similar money,
you're getting Rice cheaper than Caicedo.
Yeah, I think. I mean, don't get me wrong.
You sure?
Yeah, when he left on his deal, Caicedo.
It sounds mad. What happens if West Ham go down?
I was about to say that if West Ham go down, I reckon Declan Rice is worth about 30, 40 million.
And also, just following up on that point, sorry, like, just you got to look at like we're no strangers when we're looking at clubs that are sort of within the bottom 10 of the table, and clubs like Leicester can go down. People like James Maddison might be available on a cheaper rate. There are some good players around. I mean, I'd love Moises Caicedo at the football club, but I think if you compare the two, if you think I personally would pay cheaper to get Declan Rice than pay over the odds to get Caicedo. But I think
Caicedo's never happening. He's 100 mil. He's a 100 mil player. He's just signed a new deal. They rejected 70 million for Caicedo. They want 100 mil. You might as well have gone and got Jude Bellingham. You're not paying 100 mil to get Caicedo.
I think the one glimmer of hope in terms of Caicedo, I think, is like we've said off camera, is the terms of is there some sort of clause in the contract? I don't believe there is. And again, I think Neil Jones said that again, if a deal for Caicedo was to become, relatively in Liverpool's vision, then again it would be a bit. I think cameras died. Caicedo, it would be a complicated deal to work through, and I think that's a little bit where, again, when journalists say complicated, it means it's going to be expensive in that regard. And I would agree. I think Declan Rice goes for less, but if for example, if they do stay in the Premier League, I think West Ham will be trying to get every penny out of that deal, no matter what. And again, for me right now, a DM was Declan Rice, 23, 24.
I'll say it's only a couple of years older than Caicedo, yeah.
Again, you are talking around maybe that 40-50 million per mark, because again, English tax, West Ham, that the other. But knowing in this inflated market as it is, again, they're of course going to be begging out for 70 million as well. But obviously, I want to quickly go into the chat as well. Let us know your guys' thoughts. Who would you prefer, if for argument's sake, they were both available for 70 million as well? Obviously, I'd like Caicedo, but as Ricky did point out, Caicedo was going to cost around 90-100 million pounds easily, without a shadow of it, and probably more as well. Being realistic,
it's the longer term as well, Connor. Isn't it? I think over 3 to 4 years they'll want them add-ons as well.
Yeah.
And Liverpool to get back in the Champions League and Liverpool to win trophies like that. That'll all be within the contract.
Yeah, 100% as well. Jack's internet has died, so he's putting the chat down below as well. So fantastic.
Too much on about Barella. It's killed his megabytes.
It's all Barella images getting downloaded to go up on the wall. Garrison
should have stuck to Ward-Prowse.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Do you know what? I'm waiting for that link to get if Southampton get confirmed to be relegated, I guarantee it's going to get talked about some way.
Oh man, I'm closing the channel down. Our channel, if we're talking James Ward-Prowse, I'm giving up, mate. I'm coming off Twitter, coming off YouTube, I'm coming off everything. I can't be dealing with that next season.
I mean, just quickly, Rick, Gallagher or Ward-Prowse? Is there a lifeline with Ward-Prowse then?
I'd rather give Ox a new deal.
Or is it Ox and Naby new deal instead of Ward-Prowse?
Gallagher. Conor Gallagher's a championship level player at best, and James Ward-Prowse is a set piece match.
Yeah.
We're Liverpool Football Club.
Speaking of Southampton players, what about Lavia?
He's
that name mentioned a couple of times.
Yeah, City's got a buyback on him, so whatever, they'll just get him back for cheap and then sell him on themselves.
Walker Peters.
Spurs.
Well, that's a good shout, Walker Peters.
Does Spurs have something there in terms of a buyback?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure. I think they've definitely got the future with Jed Spence as well, haven't they? So we'll have to wait on that one.
Yeah, Walker Peters has been at Southampton way too long for Spurs to still have a buyback in him.
Yeah, De Jong, Barella, Nunes, and Tielemans. We haven't even talked about Tielemans, and we wasn't going to mention Tielemans. That's a no for me. No. Absolutely no. I saw somewhere that they are trying to sell to Man United for 80 million. What's that for Frankie de Jong? Again, I know people will have their thoughts and opinions on Frankie de Jong. Pulling out of Bellingham deal makes me think we won't actually have a decent transfer budget, and we'll only end up getting players like Conor Gallagher. It is a worry, though. I would say I kind of agree with that in terms of, and kind of like what Doug said earlier on, and what Luke said in terms of when we were speaking about who's in charge of decision making, behind the scenes at the club, because obviously we've been linked with so many midfielders this summer. It just feels like Liverpool are trying to do something under the radar that hasn't been reported yet. But obviously with the Bellingham news, it's like I feel like Liverpool are at the moment are trying to reassess how much they have to spend this summer, and because it's gone from being we'll go and get 3 midfielders to now it'll be 2, but it may potentially be 3 as well. That's the big worry for me. But it's we may get a third. We're not entirely sure yet. That's big frightening part about it. Doing the maths, Liverpool are talking about getting 3 midfielders at the £50 million each mark. If we can use the Jude price to get 3 like that, tweet says as well. I don't know who says that in terms of that. How much do you believe we got for the transfers plus players out money? I'm not entirely sure. I think war chest £2.50. I think.
Reduce section, Connor.
Reduce section. Sorry, that's the frustrating part. Is in terms of like everyone's like, yeah, we'll easily go and sign this, that, and the other. It's just absolute shite. Remember, smash the like and subscribe to both channels. Well, yeah, absolutely appreciate it if you could do so as well. Chat. Honestly, not sure as well. Yeah, thank you for that. We should get a proper right back and put Trent in midfield. I think everyone since that Arsenal game has had that same opinion and thought that Liverpool should put Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield.
I think it's the fact of I think I said with Ricky on our Arsenal preview, it was like we've got 8 games to go, well, 8 to 9 games to go. We've got pretty much nothing to play for. Obviously, just finish as high as we can. Let's try it. Like actually trying something different with your tactics. Try and do something that might sort of get you off the edge of your seat a little bit and see if there's something we can move forward to for next season, because it's the same dead tactics and formations that just cause us a lot of stress and pain to watch. But I don't know, it's like that's what I want to see. Like even if Trent can do, Trent in my opinion played quite well against Arsenal when he came more central and obviously caused them a bit of a problem, so why not? Obviously just let's try something for next season.
Yeah, absolutely. Gallagher amount just come on for Chelsea if Lampard rates them.
2-0 down at the moment, aren't
they? Yeah, come on, Madrid, score another one, please.
Yeah.
Don't want a Chelsea again. I want Madrid to stop City. If I'm being honest with you.
Tell you what, this Champions League's mad, though. I mean, I'm seeing the other game, Milan are winning 1-0, and then Geisa got sent off. So, I mean, I know it's the second leg to play for, but it's he'll be out the second leg, and Guisa and Milan are doing quite well at the moment.
They look a different team without Oshiman though.
Is he not playing? Oshiman?
No, he's injured, isn't he?
He's injured.
Yeah, that is massive, isn't it?
For God's sake, Jungle, I've just seen your comment. Well, first of all, Tyler Morton is the new signing next season, so don't worry.
Could you imagine if Liverpool over this week or the end or start next week, they obviously bring out this about Jude Bellingham and then they're trying to sort of get the crowd or the fans up, and they announce a new contract extension for James Milner, and then they get Jay Spearing sort of in and around
at the moment. So
can you imagine we lose to Leeds?
Yeah.
How toxic it'll be after that.
I think Friday is going to be so important in terms of the press conference and what Jurgen says. Because we know for a fact that that's all the press conference is going to be is Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
Of course you'll have the occasional, obviously Luis Diaz, is he okay to play, blah blah blah. But that press conference is going to be non-stop, and even the embargo section as well, in terms of what's happening with Jude Bellingham. And I guarantee Klopp's going to lose it in some sense with the questions. But again, like we said, we were talking about, it's partly down on him as well. The fact that we've chased Jude Bellingham down for 2-3 years and haven't signed anyone. That's Jurgen Klopp's fault, and it's also the board's fault as well, because the fact that we've gone, if you just save up and that, and we go and we'll get an attacker in terms of Cody Gakpo and obviously Darwin and this, that, and the other. It just feels like, what was the point of the last 2 summers?
We also have another problem if you think about it. We've no sporting director from June onwards, so because obviously Julian Ward's away, so who's going to be able to sign the players? That's the thing. Until we get a sporting director, I think we're pretty much screwed there.
100% as well. But obviously, we'll mention. Obviously, I was going to mention when Jack was here as well. Of course, Nikolai Barella. Obviously, Jack have adored him since friggin' 2018.
Should edit a picture, Connor. You should get Jack on his instead of Barella, you should have Jack as the face.
Yeah, or maybe just Jack behind Barella.
Or you could have Barella on the trophy or something, and then have Jack at the front, Jack's holding him.
What, just cradling him like a baby?
Yeah, exactly. I think we could do that.
But yeah, no, we're going to obviously mention Barella because obviously Barella's name has been mentioned quite a lot in reports. And obviously, Melissa Reddy, before we come on this evening, saying that obviously Inter Milan have paid a price of around 50 million pounds for him, which would be around 44 million euros, I believe, as well. Obviously, looking at Rick, looking at his profile, obviously 26 years of age, I think if you compare him in terms of playing wise, I think he's pretty much, again, going forwards, dribbling wise, and in terms of on the ball, I think on the left hand side in that Thiago role, I think he'd be probably perfect for. But again, I always have flashbacks to Aquilani when we're talking about Italians signing for Liverpool.
I knew you were going to say that.
Hey,
was that his debut?
It's the first thing that every single Liverpool supporter thinks of is Alberto Aquilani, and the hype that he had coming into the club. All of us thought that he was going to be something special, and he wasn't. But Rick, would you first of all be happy if Barella come into Liverpool and become the main signing then, in terms of, again, Liverpool are planning to play him in the Thiago role, he'd be the main midfielder for next season?
It's tough because I think whoever comes in for Liverpool in the summer, it's not Jude Bellingham. So I just think it's gonna put a downer on whoever comes in, which ain't fair on them. It's not their fault that we've got FSG in charge. But I think at that price, it's a no-brainer for Barella. I can't say, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've seen much of him. I ain't. Obviously, I play Football Manager and he's class on that game, but I'm not going to sit here and say I've seen much of him. But
come on, lads! I expected Footy Manager stats on him.
Mate, Footy Manager stats. He's unbelievable on the game. So I'm hoping he's like that in real life. Obviously, he's a ball carrier. He's got an eye for a pass, but he's Italian. And Italians don't do well in the Premier League. I think, bar the odd couple, Jorginho has done well since he's been in here.
Do you know what? I'm going to add to that. Do you know that actually Ricky's got a point? There's only one Italian that has actually one Italian player that has actually won the Premier League.
It's Jorginho.
No.
Is it really?
No.
Yeah. One Italian player has won the Premier League as a player, and he plays for Liverpool as well.
Yes, Balotelli. He's the only player that's won the Premier League. I mean, you look at Balotelli,
Mancini and Ancelotti are the only managers that have won it as Italians.
Yeah. Another Italian, Balotelli, was poor.
Sorry, yeah, well done, Doug. Sorry, 3 of them, yeah. So if you're Italian, be a manager, not a player.
Yeah. It also, again, this summer though, it does feel like, obviously, with last summer, it felt like strikers was the main conversation in terms of the general market itself. This summer, it massively feels like obviously midfielders are the main conversation, because obviously Liverpool, we need a massive rebuild. Chelsea need midfielders because obviously they're getting rid of Kante and they've already got rid of Jorginho to Arsenal. But again, what we've heard of this season, or just in terms of the rumours, is Liverpool don't want a bidding war for anyone. And that's a worry in its sense, because again, and people have said, Liverpool, they need the Champions League to gain players at the club. I don't believe that for a fact. I think Liverpool are big enough. Obviously, for me, they're the biggest club, especially in England and in the Premier League. But it just, in terms of, if you go in Europe as well and go, Liverpool, everyone should know who Liverpool Football Club are. And again, we didn't struggle when we had Europa League in getting players in the door that we wanted in that regard. Obviously, with finance, we did. But you look at the summer, and it's something that Neil Jones said earlier on Redmen, in terms of this feels like a 16-17 summer for Liverpool, where you get the base players in now. In terms of, back then, obviously, we got Mane in, we got Wijnaldum, Robertson in, and, just building the core back up. That's what this judging from the Bellingham news now, it does awfully feel like that is what Liverpool are planning to do again. And next season it might go big on just the one player or the two players. But I don't know if you guys feel the same, but it does feel like that Liverpool will at least sign 3 or 4 players this summer, and that's not only just midfielders. It feels like it's going to be midfielders and even defenders this season.
I think your best mate summed it up. Obviously, Fabrizio, he obviously did turn around and say that there was a.
Hello, Fabrizio. Yes, hello, Fabrizio.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, yeah, I'm going to be shocked if Liverpool don't bring in at least 3 to 4 players this summer. Yeah, I mean, just going back to Barella, it's one thing I do like about Nicola Barella, which I mean, I've seen when he was playing in the Euros, and obviously at times when I've watched a few half games of Serie A this season with Inter Milan. I like the way he tries to recover the ball. He's very energetic. He does like to cover a lot of ground on the pitch, and he's very composed as well with the ball. It's amazing how quick he can be with the counter-attack as well, and that's sort of where Liverpool's strengths have been over the last 4 to 5 years. Our counter-attacking play is up there with one of the best in Europe when we're on our day, and Barella could be that sort of player in midfield that Liverpool do desperately need. And to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if that is a sort of marquee signing in the summer, because we obviously talk about players. And I think what Melissa Reddy's doing there, I mean, for me, in my opinion, I think it's trying to start bidding more an extent. If it's only 50 million euros and then you've got players like Declan Rice and Moises Caicedo, that's going to be up to 75 to 80 million. That's going to put a lot of clubs off to an extent. But yeah, I think Barella would be an excellent sign for Liverpool. Prime, 26, 27 years of age. I think he fits our Liverpool midfield to a T. But I'm kind of with you, Connor, though, to an extent where the Champions League obviously is important.
Yeah.
But I think what we've done over the last 4 to 5 years, I think we've actually set a marker down anyway that this could only just be a blip. The only problem is, I think that we have is, all of us as fans know we don't have the money like Chelsea, Manchester City, when obviously they've had bad seasons. And, you know, when Chelsea were out of Europe for a couple of seasons, they were still able to attract big players. But are we able to do that? Are we able to give the big wages and able to pay the big odds for these players? I don't know. But with Jurgen Klopp in the realms, you know, I still believe he is the man next season to get us out of this mess. But he does need backing. And if he does get the backing, then I do believe we could be back up there next year, challenging at least minimum top 4, I would say, to get us back into that foundation period for a couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. I think.
Do you not think he walks?
I wouldn't be surprised if he does.
I think he walks only if he's given false hope. I mean, I think he's already been given that a little bit in terms of Jude Bellingham. But in terms of if he goes like, right, I'm going to go and sign Barella for 50, and then FSG turn around and go, oh, no, we can't do that. Sorry, we have to, you have to split that player's price tag in half and go after somebody else. Then I think that's something where we saw it at Dortmund. He said that there was a rebuild needed at Dortmund. Dortmund's hierarchy didn't believe him and didn't want to, restructure the club in terms of on the field. And that's when he walked. And he was like, okay, fair enough. I'm going to go at the end of the season. And it could end up like that. I feel like the talk, I can't remember which journalist said it, but if Liverpool do sign players and you still have the same sort of performances at the start of next season, then Jurgen Klopp's position looks to be untenable. And I'm like, that's still not the case in my opinion, because it's going to take Liverpool at least a season to get the players in the door, get them well sorted. We know Jurgen likes to take 3 to 4, 5 months on certain individuals to make them better, to get them used to the system. And I feel like even with the likes of Cody Gakpo and Darwin Núñez, he hasn't been able to do that as such. Like, again, Darwin was thrown in straight away because of injuries, never had time to do what we've normally done. Gakpo's been exactly the same since he signed since January, and having been thrown back in. And I'm just hoping that's not the same with the midfielders, that we're like, oh yeah, 3 new midfielders, throw them straight into the first team and go from there. Like, I feel like if you do a mixture of, like, you know, obviously with potentially Fabinho or Thiago staying, and then obviously a new midfielder in that, then sure, fair enough. But it will take time for these boys to gel if they do come in. And especially, you know, the non-Premier League ones, like if Barella was to come in, like, he's going to take months to get used to the system.
Look
get
at
used to the Premier League.
look at look at Fabinho. I mean, when he first came in, it took him at least 3 months to really get back into the starting 11. Yeah, you're right.
But these players ain't going to have the club and Klopp. These players are not going to have the luxury of that time next season, because the season we've just had, now look, we're having now, we can finish anywhere up to, I don't know, 12th or whatnot. We're gonna have we have to hit the ground running next season. Any start a poor form at the start of the season, questions will be asked. And I say Klopp gets till Christmas for me, if it don't turn around, because we can't afford to not have another bad season. Klopp will go by Christmas, whether he walks or he gets sacked. FSG will not sack Jurgen Klopp, because the day they sack Jurgen Klopp, they'll lose every member of the fan base, and then they'll be fully exposed for what they are with whoever comes in charge under them. But I do think it will get to a stage where Klopp just thinks, I don't need this. I'm a level above what's going on. I haven't been backed fully since I've been here. We've been chasing Jude Bellingham since he was in diapers, pretty much. And it's come to the stage where, we're waiting. We ain't signing no midfielders. We missed out on Tuchemini last season, but we're waiting for Jude to then come into the summer where you can get Jude, and we've sort of shit ourselves and embarrassed ourselves, really. And I think Liverpool Football Club is going to be the biggest banner of football through the summer, through next season, if we don't get Jude Bellingham. For me, it's embarrassing. I mean, someone's got to be held accountable for us not getting him, because the flirting that's gone on with Trent, Henderson, you got Trent taking Jude Bellingham on dates to go watch Chris Brown. You got Henderson having showers with Jude Bellingham on England duty. I mean,
He's not wrong though.
You got Henderson and Jude Bellingham flirting on Instagram.
I think Henderson's our sporting director now, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's tragic that we haven't got Jude Bellingham. It's tragic. Like, I am generally embarrassed.
Can I just add one thing? What Ricky said about FSG, if they ever think about sacking Jurgen Klopp. Now, I, for one, don't want that to happen. I do think Klopp is the right man to take us forward next season. Every great manager has had a bad season in their career. That goes from Wenger, Ferguson, even Pep. You know, all these great managers have had bad seasons. But if FSG actually sacked Jurgen Klopp, I know there's a lot of fans that are Klopp-ins and the Klopp-outs, and you know that they're. I genuinely believe the fans that are Klopp-out would have an absolute bandwagon if FSG sacked Jurgen Klopp. I genuinely believe that they would not they may have the thought in their mind to think that could be the right decision, but I think there'll be a lot of twisting around to say, oh, they can't sack Jurgen Klopp. Why are they sacking him? Like, he should have been allowed to walk. He's earned that legacy.
Who comes in after him?
Yeah, I mean, you've got that to it as well.
Roy Hodgson, we bring him out of retirement.
I mean,
Sorry, no,
I mean, but I don't know. I think a lot of these I think a lot of the Liverpool fans that are Klopp out at the moment, I just think, I'm hoping they want him to walk. Like, for me, Jurgen Klopp is bigger than FSG around Liverpool Football Club. He's not bigger than the club, but he's obviously bigger for me than the owners. And
I think
FSG
Carragher
know
mentioned
that.
it, didn't he? I think Carragher said it in terms of there's probably no other manager in probably the Premier League that has more, not a hold, I would say, but more of a God feeling than Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool, because we adore our managers. I mean, again, not everyone adores Jurgen Klopp at the moment, but again, Liverpool, like, I feel like the manager has to be one of the people, if you get what I mean, in terms of Liverpool doing it. But I just think that it does come at the stage of where Liverpool will have to, at one point, say goodbye to Jurgen Klopp. And again, it is that factor of who is next. And we've always said that Jurgen Klopp is going to leave at the perfect time for Liverpool. Again, that's in a wonderful scenario, and we have the replacement lined up. But when you do look at managers at the moment and look at top level managers on the market, they're very rare. So unless you're going to go for a manager that's going to rebuild again and kind of go through that period again of Liverpool, looking at when you've got S tier managers looking at a step down potentially, because all the S tier ones are in jobs at the moment. But again, for me, I think Jurgen, as Luke rightfully said, I think Jurgen Klopp is still Liverpool's best. Is Liverpool's best option. Again, he's the man I still believe to turn this around.
Do you know what I can't wait for? August 31st, when the window's shut, we get that absolute clan shoe, John Henry, in front of a teleprompter again, asking for forgiveness. Yeah, asking for forgiveness. I've given Jurgen Klopp 10 mil and a packet of Haribo to spend in the summer.
From the reduced
get
section.
the yellow roses. Get the yellow roses. Need to remember them.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
That's going to live with Connor tonight from the reduced section, isn't it? You got
like
local Tesco's nearby.
I'd love to know.
We've seen the TikToks that go and they're like, all right, let's go and choose the reduced section, see what we have for dinner.
I'd love to know what world FSG are living in and what they're actually watching going on around them, like in terms of other football clubs. I'm not saying Jurgen Klopp is bigger than Liverpool Football Club. He's nowhere near it. He's far from it. No single person is bigger than Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah,
Jurgen Klopp is bigger than FSG.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of comments that just come in. There's one from Albert and there's one from Philip. No one said that Jurgen Klopp is bigger than Liverpool Football Club. What we said was he's bigger than the owners, and obviously the owners are not bigger than the football club, of course not. But what we're saying is, if Liverpool decided, or if FSG decided to sack Jurgen Klopp, the absolute outrage from the fan base, even if you're Klopp in or Klopp out, it would be absolutely humongous, literally. And that's just how big it would be.
It'll break the internet in terms of
100%
breaking news.
Right, he's not bigger than a football club. No one's bigger than a football club. No. We know that. But Jurgen Klopp is one of our biggest assets around the football club still, and highly much bigger than FSG, and everyone knows that.
Yeah. Look, you've got to look at it like this. Any club in world football would take Jurgen Klopp tomorrow.
We said, didn't we? Bayern Munich, if that was available, he goes there.
Yeah, well, look at Chelsea fans. There's been numerous amounts of Chelsea fans on social media going, oh, why don't we go and test the waters with Klopp and Liverpool and see what we can do there? And that's the thing, like Liverpool will turn around and go, yeah, no, we're not interested in that. Jurgen will even go there. Because again, Jurgen, it's like he says, he has to be connected with the club. And when you look at it like that, it's like, for me, Liverpool will give Jurgen Klopp time to work with next season and wherever. But and again, we know how dumb these owners are in terms of when you have a massive crowd in terms of going, oh yeah, Klopp out and blah, blah, blah. Again, people are just going to go and shout and scream about it. But for me, again, like I said, and I will repeat, again, Jurgen Klopp isn't as big as the football club. Again, for us, he's huge. And again, he's bigger than the owners, like as everyone has just mentioned. Like, again, you look at the Super League. Nobody was like, oh yeah, Jurgen Klopp out about in this, blah, 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 whatever. And before Jurgen spoke about it, it was straight away the owners out. Like, the owners get out. Because, again, that was the point of it. As well, yeah, Albert, calm it down, lad, as well. Roll it back, and that's what we heard. I'm not the only one who heard it. Please,
no one said it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone did.
No. We said Klopp's one of the biggest assets, and we said that Klopp's bigger than FSG. No one said Klopp's bigger than Liverpool Football Club.
I agree with that, though. But yeah,
I agree with that.
We all agree.
Oh, 100%.
Stand by Bellingham isn't all that as well. Focus on relegation, lads. That's all I'm going to say. But no, I'm joking. Good to see you around as well. But we should boycott. We should begin boycotting matches and merchandise that will learn them as well. Again, I don't think anything would dent Liverpool in that regard. But I think what would it take though? Would it take Liverpool not doing business this summer? Because again, it's the sense that this summer has to be perfect now. In terms of, again, we're not getting Jude Bellingham. We're not going to be able to compete in terms of buying someone for 150, 160 million pounds. But again, this summer has to be perfect.
I mean, the reason Jurgen Klopp signed a new contract was he was given guarantees that he would be able to, do a rebuild, and obviously, FSG haven't given him that. Now, like, people are asking in the chat, like, how long do you give Jurgen Klopp until like next season? Like, honestly, at this moment in time, I still think he's here until 2026 because he signed his contract until then. I still think he will be, still manager by then anyway.
Give me 2 seconds a minute. Someone's at my front door and I don't know who it is. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
It's John Emery.
John Emery wants to know why he's
the
doing.
show.
Yeah, John Emery's come
It's
to.
Jack trying to get his internet back. Go on. Go on,
Jack's
Doug.
come to get what do you call it? One of them internet's hotspots.
Yeah. But no. Honestly, I just think that with Jurgen Klopp signing a new contract, he was given guarantees that he would be able to be part of this rebuild, and obviously FSG haven't managed to do that. But I still think he will see out his contract, and then we'll obviously have a decision to make who obviously comes in.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I'm just looking at this comment what Albert's put, and obviously what Tom's just put in there. Obviously, boycotting. I mean, the size and the stature of Liverpool Football Club, it is never in the world. There's always, like Rick, obviously, we've heard so many times from like our brothers, obviously being Arsenal supporters. Arsenal, for me, obviously, like when the owners, obviously, they had their dispute about not putting money into the club, and that they were obviously trying to tell the Arsenal fans were trying to boycott and turn around saying, don't buy the shirts, don't go to games, don't do this, don't do that, because obviously, like, the main asset for the American style owners that we've all got is the money. Fenway even came out and said, didn't they, a few months ago in an interview, they turned around and said, like, whatever we earn or sort of thing, we're going to put straight back into Fenway Sports Group, which is always a worry. But for the size of Liverpool Football Club, there is no way on earth that football supporters, if you're from Liverpool or if you're not from Liverpool, you could be like from around the world, there's no way that you're going to stop fans buying T-shirts and buying match tickets and even buying, like, I'm not being funny. I even saw this today. I'm even going to show you. I bought that and it cost me like a tenner, or 10 to 15 quid. But it's like, we do that because we love the football club. But at the same time, I think I sound myself like a little bit of a hypocrite, because at the end of the day, I don't want FSG to be running the football club. That's what I mean. It's like, we all do it because we love the football club. So it's so difficult to actually put your mind to it and actually not do that. There's millions of football fans that will want to go to Anfield and watch a game. I mean, Rick, there's not much in your sort of room, but
do you know what it is though? Do you know what it is with FSG is a lot of people think FSG saved Liverpool Football Club. They never. I mean, Liverpool was in a bad way after the other two Cowboys in Hicks and Gillette. The debt was massive. We obviously, FSG come and bought us for 350 million, and then apparently they saved Liverpool Football Club. Liverpool Football Club is one of the biggest football clubs in world football, one of the biggest sporting institutions in world football, in the world, in any other sport. There was always going to be someone that would have bought Liverpool Football Club if FSG didn't. So let's get the facts.
Yeah.
They never saved Liverpool Football Club. They saw an opportunity for cheap money, and they've now 10 times, 20 times were worth more than what they paid. So take your 3 billion or whatever you think you can get for us. They're clearly sitting there. We were for sale before the Glazers put Man United up for sale, like the fourth round of bidding on what's nonsense is going on over there. But we were for sale before the Glazers put Man United up for sale. They've now seen Man United put a valuation of 7 billion on their football club. So they're now sitting back thinking, let's wait to see what Man United go for before we start potentially putting Liverpool up for sale again. I read another article today saying that when investment comes in the summer, if it does come, nothing's going to change in terms of transfer budgets, in terms of the way the club's going to be run. It's going to be run the same Mickey Mouse way that it's been run for the last 3 seasons. Sell to buy, which they're probably looking around the squad now thinking, we've got no one to sell for big money. Conor Gallagher, you might as well keep Curtis Jones, because I think Curtis Jones is a better player than Conor Gallagher. It's just a shambles. Like, we still won't replace Michael Edwards and the other clan that's leaving in the summer because he couldn't do the job in Ward. So who are we getting in to do that role? You've got people releasing books left, right, and centre. I mean, yeah, this club's a mess. This summer don't even do anything for us unless you're spending. I reckon this club needs to spend 400 million this summer to get anywhere close to where it wants to be.
I'll just ask one question for all of you, and obviously for everyone in the chat as well. It's not going to happen. But if Liverpool were taken over tomorrow, for example, or next week, or in the summer, and Liverpool bought absolutely no one, would you take that?
No.
I'd want to see a plan.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. I look at that's what I mean. The takeover is our transfer. We get, I don't know, a Qatari investment or a Saudi investment or whatever investment it is, and we get, we become one of the richer clubs in the world, obviously like a Newcastle or Manchester City. If you was to take that, but there's no transfers this summer, would you take that instead of bringing, obviously, your 4 to 5 players right now with FSG still in charge?
No. It has to be afterwards for me. Because, again, we talk about this season being a mess. Imagine the same players with the same problems.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. It's difficult, but look, Milner will be at the club, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's true.
How is it? How is it though that we went from probably one of the best run clubs in world football to one of the worst run clubs in football now? It's just in the space of 2 seasons. It's ridiculous.
Too much loyalty, mate.
Yeah.
That goes all round.
I think the other thing though as well is I think we got comfortable in our own success in that way, because even the season that we finished 3rd and obviously was the injury impact season, there was an acknowledgement in that as if Liverpool had the centre halves, Liverpool were going to be in the top 2 that season. I think Liverpool were top. I think Joe Gomez got injured last as well, and there was a reasoning Liverpool should in some sense be 1st or 2nd around that, but obviously the injuries happened, and then you had obviously last season, and I think from last season we expected a little bit of a drop off, but not the drop off like we've seen happen this season, in terms of, again, we don't look like Liverpool. It looks like we've been, this team has just been brought in from everywhere, but don't know each other and don't know the system that we're playing in. Looks like we've run out of ideas and there's no ideas how to fix the problems, because even in that injury impact season, we managed to figure out a system that worked to be able to get Champions League. We're in that same problem as that season, but we have no solution to fix Liverpool's problems. And that's the worrying sign for me, where if we wasn't to bring in the correct players, then, we say this season's been damaging. Imagine next season when everyone's getting better and everyone's getting, the teams are evolving to, being better under the managers they are at the moment. But, that's just my thoughts anyway. But Liverpool need to spend north of $1 billion to compete. I wish.
Fortunately, there's a difference if we. I mean, it's not going to happen, but fortunately, there's a difference if we spend, as Ricky said, 400 to 500 million, and then Chelsea spending 400 to 500 million. Then Todd Bowley coming out going, "Oh, there's a project, there's a long-term project, and we're going to win 3-0 tonight." I mean, there's a difference. I think if Liverpool were going to spend that amount of money, that there might be more of a plan moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there a debate in the chat right now about Gavi and Gallagher? Am I seeing that right? No, it's not.
Gary, what would he be available? Would Gavi be on a free transfer in the summer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to Chelsea if anywhere.
I don't know. I think he stays abroad. I think he might go Germany or maybe in Italy.
Bayern. It's a
I think it'd be Barella's replacement. Hey, Jack, if you're watching. Barella.
Barella's replacement. Bobby replacement for Barella. New system.
I could actually see Bobby going to Inter. I really could.
I'll get to people's questions now anyway. Before we do head off for tonight, Mason Mount, they will but Mount Gallagher, Ward-Prowse, and get Tillemans for free. That's your summer rebuild as well. I absolutely love it.
Well, Yuri can't run Tillemans, no thanks.
Yeah, if people give up their season tickets, then the next person waiting will get it. It's an 8 to 10 year wait list for a season ticket. It's ridiculous. Facts Ricky as well. Jude only or Mount and Caicedo to the football world. I think a lot of people have different thoughts on that. What actually going around? What would you rather, Mount and Caicedo or Jude by himself?
Jude by himself.
Yeah.
Jude and Milner.
Albert, I'm afraid you're probably right. Free that I would like is Gavi unless his situation changes at Barca. I think that one might go past the transfer window, because again, it's got to go through all the legal courts, and that takes forever in terms of getting that sorted. But Gavi is better than Gallagher, absolutely, 100%. I agree with the degree of difficulty, but if they see the revenues plummeting, it will begin to sink home. It's never easy to process. I fully agree, because I just bought the training kit for $370. Jesus Christ. That's a big money. I think, again, we always talk about it when kits come out each season, the fact that the price tag on kits is ridiculous. Liverpool need to spend $1 billion. I'm going to rip that one out. I would have taken that 2 seasons ago, but we let Mane go. No investment from a position of strength. We could have been untouchable by now as well.
He's in big trouble.
Yeah. Again, United did it, annoyingly, United did it perfectly, didn't they, back in the 2000s, where, again, they were struggling to fit Tevez, Rooney, Berbatov and Ronaldo in a team, where we've been like that this season, over the last couple of seasons, in terms of Mane, Salah and Firmino. But, again, I think we've always spoken about the drop-off of the squads has been too far. Again, we haven't added to it, have we, realistically?
I think as well, I think we've been way too sentimental to players. I think we've been we've kept players way too long. We've probably kept players that we should have let go a couple of years ago. And as well, we've let players' contracts run down. Obviously, Naby's going, Knox is going, Bobby's going as well, and I think probably like someone like Nat Phillips will probably be away as well. So players will definitely go out of the club. It's just whether or not obviously we've got the funds to actually get people in. But yeah, this sell to buy, it just sounds like we're not changing our transfer strategy, and it's going to be the same.
100%. Obviously, as upset as I am, I still paid £390 to watch Liverpool v Arsenal. It was not easy to disavow Liverpool, but something needs to be done. But, yeah.
Fully agree.
Thoughts on Salah and his missed penalty? I think we need a new penalty taker.
I don't understand why Fabinho was not on that penalty. I mean, he missed the one against
Me
Bournemouth.
too.
It was shocking. I mean, correct. Was any of you thinking that Trent was going to take it when Trent was standing over the penalty spot?
Yes.
And me at the point, I thought. Me at the point,
no, didn't he?
Yeah, me at the point, I thought, you know what? Give it to him. The guy's under a bit of pressure. He's obviously good on a set piece from a free kick. I wouldn't have minded Trent taking it, but no, I think I still can't believe that James Milner was on the pitch and obviously didn't take it at Bournemouth. I mean, I know there was a discussion about that Salah's now the penalty taker, but I think right now, if he's on the pitch, I think Fabinho is number one right now.
I don't get why Mo has changed the way he's taking penalties. Now he wants to play something.
It's weird. It's weird. The one against Bournemouth, he tried to find like the top corner and completely missed. And then this one he's trying to find the bottom. Yeah, and then this one he's trying to find the bottom corner. Like just do what you were doing, because it was pretty simple what he was doing. But no, it's a weird one with Salah. Especially the penalties.
Do we think Fabinho will be penalty taker?
Has to be.
I don't think he missed one for Monaco.
No, he missed one in pre-season for us when he first started for us, though.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, the main penalties he has taken, he scored. So
I'll give it to Van Dijk, especially the one against Chelsea. It doesn't matter if the goalie's on the other side.
Oh yeah,
that's good.
Actually, to be fair, he did miss one for Holland. So
he didn't miss one for Liverpool, mate.
That is true.
If you're giving on to Van Dijk, you need to give one to Jota, because his form is absolutely horrendous right now.
I wouldn't be confident in Jota taking a penalty. I'd be less confident than Mo Salah at the moment. But the ordinary formula of players, or two a season, was perfect on it. It was a dead easy. Now we have to cut a revenue stream for the Champions League as well. Yeah, absolutely. It's not our season. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Yeah, I did. He wanted to take it. That's what it seemed like. If you were watching from the stands,
I think even watching from the telly, I think we looked at maybe Trent taking it. To be honest, I mean, it looked quite strange to see. But I wouldn't like to see Salah on the next one.
One thing I will ask you then, guys, before we do head off for the stream. Obviously, with all the names that have been linked. Over the last 24 hours, if you could sign 2 midfielders, being realistic before anyone says Jude Bellingham, who do you think Liverpool will sign this summer now, considering the news? I'll start off with Rick.
If it was down to me, Barella and Casado would be the 2.
Luke?
Gallagher, no joking. I think.
Christ. Reduce section.
Yeah, we're looking at reduce section. I mean, I would like, Ugarte, but I think Caicedo would probably be more realistic. I think when the Premier League, maybe I think Liverpool could go for him. So I would say actually Caicedo. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Ricky. I'm going to go Barella as well.
Doug, would you agree with the lads as well?
Yeah, I'm going to go on the Kefren Turam train. I'm going to go on his train. I think Ugarte would be the other one.
Yeah, for me, Barella definitely. I think if it's possible, Caicedo, but I think Ugarte as well would absolutely be phenomenal.
Sorry, Badger and Scousebird. I do not look like Calvin Ramsey, right? I do not look like Calvin Ramsey. Thank you for the compliment. But
someone get a picture of Calvin Ramsey, quick. We'll have to have a look at that.
If we only got Barella and we didn't get Caicedo, I'd like Gravenberch as the alternative.
Gravenberch might sort of put you off with his injuries.
No, he ain't. Look at his injury record. He's not injured. He's not injury prone.
Yeah, true. wasn't Naby Keita injury prone when he first signed for Liverpool? Though?
Yeah.
Was he? Yeah. No.
But it'd be them.
I really do not see a Badger and Scousebird, but thank you.
No, please. Everyone's got their look-alike, but I'll have to have a look.
Do you guys think the Bellingham news last night is just a negotiation strategy? Potentially. I
think we did last night.
Yeah, I think last night. I think with Liverpool, anything's possible. And anything's like the weirdest things are possible in terms of Liverpool, especially in this mad summer that's going to happen as well. So again, like I said, until he either gets a new contract or B, gets a new team in terms of Madrid or whatever, it'll be like the Fekir situation. It will never be a dying story with Jude Bellingham and Liverpool. I would say anyway. But Gavi, Tchouaméni, and Barella, the hopeful.
Bring in Tchouaméni.
We are
It's one too many, Connor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey!
Thanks very much for that. We are cheap. So Ugarte and Thuram will give a nice pay for less than 90 million. I think you're probably looking at what Ugarte 50 million, and then what Thuram 30 million euros, which is around what 24 mil. Like it is cheap, to be fair. Anyway, but guys, we are going to leave it there for tonight. Anyway, big thank you to everyone for tuning in as well. I don't know what we've done in terms of likes. I think we are on. Let me double check. We are on 22 likes right now, so we can get to 25, guys. As well, it's very much appreciated as well. Again, big thank you to all the new subscribers as well. We are now. Do the maths quickly in my head. We are 53 away from 1K, so it'd be very much appreciated if we can do that before the end of the season as well. And of course, guys, please go and subscribe to the Dugwell Football channel and the 1892 Reds TV as well. Got it right first time, and of course to Anfield Road TV as well. Obviously, Jack was on earlier on, but his internet has died. So again, brilliant anyway. But before we do head off, Rick, do you have anything else to say before we do head off?
No, I'm all good. I've got it out of my system, mate, last night and tonight.
I think Ricky's a bit spaced out. I'm not gonna lie, but no, fair enough. Thank you, Rick, for coming on. Luke, thank you very much for coming on. Do you have anything to say before we do that?
Yeah, no, I just see you got to 25 likes. You're now 52 subscribers away from 1,000. So obviously, get subscribing to the Cop Council. Obviously, Connor does some really good stuff, and thank you for letting me come on. Obviously, it's always good to have a chat with all of you. Obviously, everyone in the comments. Well, obviously, thank you very much for everyone's comments and support. And yeah, obviously, subscribe over to 892 Res TV. We're on the verge of 750. That was our target towards the end of the season. So obviously, come and check us out as well. And obviously, go and check out Jack and Doug as well. Obviously, Doug's putting all of the our channels in the comments. So obviously, head over, guys, and yeah, Connor, go and check that reduced section out, lad. I mean, I'm expecting to see that 18p pork pie, obviously tonight. If you've got a local Tesco's nearby,
I'm just gonna get like just a sticker label and put like a player's name on a pork pie. I'll go, look, guys, look what I found from the reduced section. But yeah, that'll be the hopeful dream anyway. But big thank you for coming on as well. And Doug, thank you for coming on, mate. Anything else you have to say before we do head off?
It's been another good show. You've got another couple of subscribers, so you're sort of closing in on that 1K. I mean, the main thing I want to sort of target is obviously Luke and Ricky get 800 by the end of the season, and yeah, obviously you 1K. Yeah, definitely. But no, thank you very much for having me. And yeah, we'll obviously just need to wait and see what will happen. But yeah, and obviously go and subscribe to Anfield Road TV as well. It's a shame that Jack's internet sort of went out on him, but there we go. But no, thank you.
Try nicking Connors, didn't he, in the end of the doorbell?
To be fair,
but no, thanks to everyone. Thanks to everyone who's watched this evening.
I will quickly say, I went downstairs and the guy, and it was a delivery guy, and I'm like, I haven't ordered anything. I was like, delivery, you just throw it at me. I was like, lad, it's not for this house. And then he was like, oh, it's for 2 streets down. It's like, oh, brilliant. I should have just took the frigging pizza because I think that's what it was. But
I should have taken it.
I should have taken it, but again,
did it have pineapple on it?
I don't know what was in it. It was just.
See Doug's face as soon as I said pineapple. I see his tweet earlier. It's like pineapple don't belong on a pizza.
No, my wife had a pizza with like ham and pineapple on it. My face was an absolute picture. I couldn't believe it. But no, pineapple does not belong on pizza.
And we will leave that debate for another channel. We're not having a pizza debate now. Jesus Christ, we'll be on for another hour. But anyway, guys, please go and subscribe over to the 1892 Reds TV as well, and Anfield Road TV, and of course the Dugout Football channel as well. Anyway, and of course we'll be live tomorrow with another news episode if there is any news coming out as well. Obviously, make sure to check out the shorts as well, because again, clips from this show and again other bits and pieces of information will be on the shorts. Obviously, TikTok as well, or they'll be posted on there as well, because again, we've had some people come over from TikTok as well, so it works out good in that sense as well. Anyway, but yeah, hopefully all of you have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. I thought it was Thursday then, to be fair. And yeah, hopefully I will see you all tomorrow for another episode. But I've been calling out from the Cup Council. I'll see you all tomorrow. Ta-ra.